So we have about 5 or 6 others who are going to join us. So if we give them a few more minutes, and then we can chat, talk, um, answer any questions that you have. Did you attend the morning session?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Was it helpful?
Very.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Where are you?
I'm in Edison, New Jersey, so it's like central New Jersey.
Yep.
I'm in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right. Have you guys had a chance to actually go onto campus?
I did in 2019
Okay.
over the summer.
I haven't, no.
Okay. So I don't know, in the overall program today, did they kind of give you a virtual tour of campus?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
I think it's after this.
Oh, it's after this. Okay. So, campus is, they call it a suburban campus. So it's really kind of sitting on the edge of town. Um, it's kind of nice. It's a pretty campus. Of course, there's housing and sports fields and all that kind of stuff. The regular kind of public transportation bus comes around to campus. So that'll get you into the city of Wilkes-Barre and, connected with other things. There are things that are certainly walkable, like, maybe restaurants, that kind of stuff. There's a Starbucks. It's Starbucks, isn't it, Michael? In the student center.
I think so.
And there's Chick-fil-A, and then there's the regular, kind of university food service and all that stuff. So everything, once you're on campus, most things are very close. There's a little bit of walking if you have a class like in Passon Hall, but it's not far. I mean, it's maybe 4 blocks. I think that's probably all. So, when is your next session this morning? Is it 12:30?
I don't know.
Or is this the end?
This is the last part.
Oh, this is the last part. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the campus, I think there are virtual things online. So, I think if you're looking for a smaller college experience, Misericordia is a good opportunity to get that. Of course, if you're looking for one of those big city things, like Temple or Drexel or other places like that, it doesn't compare to that. We don't want to compare to that. Purposely, this is a smaller university aimed at providing a really solid education. So what Michael and I do is, or one of the things that we do is that we kind of shepherd what we call our health sciences program. There are different parts to that. And I know that today there were people who were interested in the exercise science part and in the medical science part. Which ones are you interested in?
I'm interested in the medical one.
Me
Okay.
too.
Okay, so I'll answer any questions that I can, but the medical science idea is to provide a foundational starting point for people who might be interested in pursuing a profession in the health world, the healthcare industry, health-related things. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna, go to medical school or that you're gonna go to dental school, but you could do that if you wanted to. It is really speaking very sincerely, a heavy science-based curriculum. So courses that you'll take are things like biology courses, microbiology courses, chemistry courses, anatomy and physiology. I think people generally like that because you get to do things with real human bodies, because we do have an actual anatomy lab. What's nice about the health sciences and all the sciences now is that this year we opened up that nice brand new science building. I've not been in it because it opened up during the pandemic. But I also know that there are tours of it, like virtual tours of it. But people coming to the university now are going to have the opportunity and all those resources of that nice new science building. And then the older science building is being renovated, eventually. So that's kind of a cool thing. So heavy science, geared at the future in health care. If you wanted to, you can take a series of courses in medical science and then apply to PA school, or you could apply to optometry school. The only thing different about optometry is that we strongly suggest that people take a physics course if they're interested in going to optometry school. Now that's not the only avenue. There's a lot of different avenues regarding research, pharmaceuticals, pharmacy school, all kinds of directions that you can find building this kind of a foundation. So, I mean, even if you wanted to eventually do something like PT or some of those other kinds of things, as you begin to explore what's out there and kind of what you're interested in and what your talents kind of fit into and that kind of stuff. So, I'll stop talking for a minute and I'll let you ask a question if you have any. Nothing? Okay, I'll go on. So, none of us can predict the future, but I can tell you that there's certainly going to be jobs in the healthcare world. Healthcare is changing, and actually, if you look at things, everything should be changing because we should be continually modifying and working on changing things so that there's better systems, better outcomes, all of those kinds of things. But I can say with confidence that healthcare is certainly going to have available jobs. Healthcare in northeastern PA is going to have jobs as well, because that's one of the things that the Labor Department, when they do their evaluations, are saying that there's going to be a demand for continued people in healthcare. And not only nurses and physicians, but all those people who support the care and then also support the science base of it with laboratory, all of those kinds of things. So, it's not precise, but there certainly should be opportunities out there for you when you finish. Are there professions that you're kind of excited about or you're kind of thinking about?
I'm honestly leaning towards physician assistant right now.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, yeah.
Okay. Well, that is certainly a growing field, and there is certainly demand. So you could do that. There is a program at Marywood, certainly, and we prepare people to be ready for it. Then they have to apply for that program. But there are many programs. I don't know about in your area or anything. So there's also opportunities, I know, that if you are courageous and you want to work in certain areas of the country and with certain populations, there may be opportunities for loan forgiveness and other things like that. Because there are areas, very rural areas, other parts of the country that are really desperate because they don't have health services at all. So there are some opportunities to do that if that's what you're kind of interested in. Those some of Pennsylvania is like that, but some of the parts of the country are things like the Southwest, places like New Mexico, Arizona. Those are very highly underserved areas. And then some areas across the northern part of the country in the Dakotas and Montana and other places have become tremendously underserved medical areas. So that, you know, the PA program at Misericordia, I think they accept, give or take, around 20 students a year.
I think they're working up to that right now. They're at like 16 or 17, I think.
Okay, all right. And that's a pretty, you know, that's 2 years of solid work, because they actually, it's a 12-month program. They don't have anything like, you know, kind of semesters or summertime or something. So they do a huge amount of coursework, and then they do clinical rotations and stuff. So, but the medical science curriculum is absolutely geared to meeting the requirements for PA school. So as I'm remembering, there's a genetics course in there. All of the you know, biochem, chem, biology, physiology and anatomy. You know, and then what else you'll have at Misericordia is that, because having an education is a really beneficial thing for us in general, about our citizenship, about our life, about the world, about how we contribute to the world, we have what's called a core curriculum. So I'm not an expert on it, but generally the core curriculum is you have to take like 2 English classes, 2 history classes, 2 religion courses, philosophy, fine arts. What am I missing, Michael? Anything?
2 math courses.
Math. Because that's Misericordia's commitment to providing a good, solid liberal arts and, you know, education to people, so that you're a well-rounded, you know, knowledgeable, informed, critical thinking human being that can make a contribution to their community. And I think you would find that every university is going to have something like that. They might be a little bit different, but every university has its kind of core, you know, this is what we need you to take. And then depending upon your major, you take different things, you know, additional things and stuff. So Misericordia does have a service education component. It's on hold right now because of the pandemic, but there are opportunities to travel or to do other things about service education. So if that's something that you kind of like to do, your advisor or someone like that can get you connected with the right people. The opportunities change, of course, but right now there are no opportunities because of the pandemic. Other things? Have you visited any other schools?
I've visited some in like New Jersey and stuff. So I'm
Uh-huh.
trying to like open up my area to Pennsylvania too.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done mostly like virtual visits.
Okay. Do you know what you're looking for? What kind of what's your comfort level, with what kind of university you're looking for?
I'm kind of looking for like smaller classes, like a small community, like that feels like home.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if I would
Okay.
rather have like a bigger or a smaller, kind of like in between.
Okay. Um, so I would say that Misericordia is one of those smaller things. It may not be home, but I think it might be the next best thing. Um, there's a lot of student supports. There are indeed small classes. There's a lot of kind of student activity type stuff, clubs, different organizations and opportunities for students to do things. Now, again, this pandemic has kind of put a damper on some of those things, or changed some of them. But let's all be hopeful that once this is over, we'll get back to normal. But you may have some students some classes, I'm sorry, that may have 10, 12, 15 people in them. Some of those larger classes, like I mentioned, the core classes, I think are generally bigger classes. Um, Michael, anything we're missing?
I don't think so. You covered
We're
most of
missing
it.
people. People
Yeah.
promised us they were going to be here and they no-showed on us. So if you're curious about the pandemic stuff, we have people fill out a health report every day. That's students, faculty, staff, all of that. And what that does is it gives people an idea about whether they're starting to have a symptom. So it just says, do you feel sick? Do you have a fever? Have you been vomiting? Anything like that. And people are wearing their mask and there's social distancing. So we've used all kinds of spaces and rooms differently so that they could be bigger and we can provide social distancing. And we have a team of people who are working just on the COVID stuff. If anyone's positive, monitoring that, helping them out, all of those kinds of things. So I think it's been going fairly well. There are some places that have had a lot of cases, a lot of cases early on. There were some big time parties at some of the universities, and it really caused a problem. They had a lot of positive cases. Misericordia hasn't had that. So I think there's been an occasional staff person who was positive. And then needed some quarantining and stuff like that. But we're doing a lot of monitoring and definitely social distancing. And a lot of classes have been altered to be online. There's always, Misericordia has always had some online delivery of courses, but due to the pandemic, we have more. The courses that are in person tend to be more the laboratory courses for right now. That's, we sure don't hope that that's going to be a continued, situation. Other things that are on your mind?
Does this program meet like most of the prereqs for PA school?
It meets all of them.
Okay.
So if that was something you're interested in when you start, we have a specific list that says, if you're interested in PA studies, here's what you take. I think the only real difference in that is that it includes a genetics course.
I know this program was kind of set up to help get into PA mainly when it was originally made a few years ago. So it's pretty good for that.
Yes. And then, you know, PA programs tend to be 2 more years. And I know in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of PA programs. I don't know how New Jersey is, but I would expect there probably are a lot of those in New Jersey as well. How are you in your sciences now? Are you, what kind of science courses are you taking this year in high school?
Right now I'm taking physics and anatomy and physiology.
I'm
Okay,
taking AP Bio, and then like I've taken Chem and Anatomy and all that.
okay. So, you know, I think that's a good foundation. How about your math? How far have you gone in math?
Right now I'm in pre-calculus.
Okay,
I'm in Alg 3 and Trig.
okay, okay. You know, you get ready because you'll have a calculus class, a semester of calculus. But I mean, trigonometry, you know, those things, you know, prepare you for that, just like, you know, you're probably doing that in pre-calculus as well. Um, so I think with those courses, you'd be able to, you know, kind of manage all this science stuff, you know, without a lot of anxiety or anything like that. It will be familiar to you at least, and then you'll be building on all of it. And are you graduating in June this coming year, 2021?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And I think this year we are not requiring the SAT test. There's, and that was a discussion that came out of the pandemic as well, because it's been very difficult for people to take that test, and for the company to deliver that test because of the pandemic. Are there other things, even things you might think that are silly that you kind of would like to ask? Nice new library, a relatively new library, um, uh, with a lot of computer space. Um, I think a tremendous staff. The library staff always is helpful. Um, are you either of you in sports?
I played field hockey.
Were you thinking of maybe doing that at the college level?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right. Because I know there is a women's field hockey, men's lacrosse, men's football. What else is there, Michael?
Cross country, track,
Oh,
basketballs,
is there? Okay.
yeah, baseball,
Uh,
softball.
oh yes, there's baseball and softball. Absolutely. I think Misericordia tends to do fairly well sometimes in baseball.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a rec center. Anderson has a pool, you know, gym, all of that kind of stuff. I'm trying to think of other things. What am I missing, Michael? Anything?
I don't think so, really. I think you hit on most of it.
Okay. You know, it's a university that was established by the Sisters of Mercy, and it is still, you know, overseen by the Sisters of Mercy. And it was a women's school in the beginning. That has all changed. I mean, the Sisters' mission is still very much part of the school, you know, about mercy, hospitality, justice, serving the oppressed, and they have special programs for that. But you know, it's not required, and although you will certainly know that it's a Catholic institution, you do not have to be part of that. You know, that's not a requirement of any kind. You know, when you take those religion courses, it's you have the option to take all kinds of courses in religion, world religions, comparative religions, you know, all of that kind of stuff. So it's there really are, in my experience, I don't know, there are very, very, very few religious, professed religious people on the faculty. There's an Office of Mission, which is, you know, consistent with the Sisters of Mercy. So tell me what they did this morning. What have you gone through already this morning?
They just went through like the admissions process and like some like requirements and like the financial aid and scholarships and stuff like that.
Okay. And do you remember who spoke to you this morning? Did the president speak?
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Owens?
think she did.
Okay. And maybe somebody from academics, Dr. Ream or Pat Thatcher? Maybe not.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. All right. Did they invite you, or did they tell you how to make an appointment for a visit if you want to come and visit?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I believe the application is all online, is it not?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Remember when you apply that it's good to give the best rounded picture of yourself. So that, you know, if you have been volunteering, interests, activities that in the community and things like that, those are all things that are part of the picture that makes you you. So make sure you let the university know those things. And especially if you've won any awards, created any programs, done anything like that. That's all stuff that reflects, you know, who you are. You know, it's not just that you got an A in every course that you took. It's more about who are you in the whole picture, the composite that makes up you. You know, I don't know if I, you know, to hold you, I don't have anything more to say. You know, that if you are interested in health in some way, and you do start in health science, and let's say you change your mind and you want to go to nursing or you want to do something like that, those transitions can be made because there is overlap in these courses. So I do encourage people to, you know, keep your eyes open, because maybe you're going to find a pathway that you didn't think about before, but that really excites you. But the medical science stuff is a very good basis. Are you done with me? Any questions for Michael? Michael does a lot of the advising and logistics and helping students, you know, figure out how to make this all work. Okay, ladies, I'm not going to sit here and look at your face on the screen, or for you to have to look at mine. Are we finished, do you think? Did you get the information that you wanted?
Yeah, I think you covered it
Yeah.
all.
Okay. And again, if you have more questions, do you have a name of anyone in admissions to connect with? You do? Okay. And certainly, if you needed to, you could certainly email me or whatever. I will be happy to answer questions. That's not a problem. Because sometimes you just want to, you know, something comes to you and you want to ask a question. That's a-okay. All right. Then I'll turn this off.